Okay. Okay, the tree committee of Town Bridgewater is in session. It's at 2:04 on the 13th of May. Um, First order of business is approval of the minutes of April. Do I have a motion to approve the minutes?
So moved.
Motion has been made. Is there a second?
Second.
Motion made second. Any discussion? All in favor, say aye.
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 Anybody against? No, good. Okay, no public comment. Um, I'll get to you in a minute, Shirley.
Okay.
Let me just mention a few things. This will probably be a short meeting. Um, I emailed you. I think it only pertains to you, Shirley, and Pat. You may have gotten an email on conflict of interest, the state form. Did you get that, Shirley?
I
I've
did
got-
get it,
Yeah.
but I don't think I need to do it this year because I have a statement that I did it in 2024.
Okay. I think it's every 3 years. Do you know, Josh? Is it every 3 years?
I don't know off the top of my head. I can
I
double
seem
check.
to remember that. I'm not sure. I assumed mine goes back 3 years, so I did it. You could check with Tina, Shirley, if it's, I can check her, I'll see her.
I think it's gone, I think it's every 3 years.
Yeah,
You're right.
yeah. Anyway, if you get, I assume that if you get it, that means you have to do it. Unless she just sent it out to everybody, I don't know.
No,
Okay.
you're the only one I got any reference to it. And then I went and looked in my folder and I had recognized that I had done it in 2024.
Okay, all right, that's fine. All right, let me just go through this quickly. First of all, welcome, Steve. I mean, you are sorely needed, and I hope your stay on the tree committee is rewarding for us, and I'm sure it'll be rewarding for us, but hopefully for you too. Nice people, really. I think you'll be dealing with some good people.
Thank you.
This will be this abbreviated in terms of people. Nicole just emailed me this morning that she works in Boston and she had a meeting she had to go to. So she can't be here. I'm not sure about Pat and Bill. I don't know where he is, but he will be resigning from the tree committee. That was intended when we got got a tree warden. I talked to Paul this morning regarding that. And it seems that they are doing interviews. I think maybe Josh, I think there are a couple people that were considered.
Yep.
Uh,
Yeah, they're working on interviews right now.
So it looks like the very good news for us is that we will have an on-call tree warden sometime within the next few weeks, it sounds like. And that's really important. I know that it's one of the things we've been pushing for the last 2 years, and the on-call person is probably not what we would prefer, but it's definitely better than nothing. So I'm pleased that that's moved along. The tree signs, have any of you have you seen any of the tree signs that have gone, Tree City signs that are going up? Anybody?
I have not.
I haven't looked. I put it on the agenda. I should look myself. Paul said he's put some up. So anyway, look out for them. Arbor Day was obviously a flop this year for a variety of reasons. I suggested Nicole, and tell me what you think. Last year we had the poster contest, and then Nicole brought the kids out, and we had the little ceremony, which was very nice, and that helped, I think, in terms of becoming a tree city again. We didn't do it this year because of the Arbor Day fell on school vacation week. I suggested to Nicole, if we can put it together, maybe we can get some students together and do a little ceremony with some pictures. I think that would be nice. She indicated that she's just stressed out with with work and home and everything, and she's not sure about her ability between now and the end of the school year. I could try checking with the school, Nicole, whether we can get some students together and take some pictures. So does that sound okay with you? I mean, we do something like that, just
What are we gonna take pictures of?
students. What we do is Shirley, when we have a little ceremony, we take pictures, and when we apply for Tree City status next year, we just show we had an Arbor Day celebration. That's all. Plus, it's for our
We
own.
had posters last year, and the year before that, we were planting a tree.
Right.
So I had pictures of those actions, but I don't know now, just gonna take pictures of kids?
Well, yeah, why not? Something, and with the posters, we had the posters out last time. Just something we have on our record, and when we apply for Tree City status, we can send it with them. That's all.
Maybe we could take posters of the new trees we put in a playground across from the vets building.
Yeah, that's possible. Sure. Sure. All right, Shirley, you brought up the tree planting. I talked to Paul, and he said no problem. He said no problem. That plant as many as you want. He'll do it. So just contact him, order the trees, and he'll do it. Not a problem.
Okay,
Okay, and that is another thing, folks. One of the things it seems to me we should have some sort of plan is more tree plantings. And I'm not sure how to approach this. Surely, you're more of an expert than I am in terms of what's been done in the past with BIA and so forth. But how do you think we should approach this? Should we contact the BIA and try to work with them? Or should we just continue planting on Main Street? Or just look around for other places to plant? We have money. Paul indicated to me, I didn't realize that Michael, before he left, did set aside some money for tree plantings in the downtown area of Bridgewater. So there is money there. And we are, a tree committee. We should be planting more trees than I think we are. So can we just come up with some sort of plan so we can start planting some trees? I mean, what are your thoughts on that? Shirley, Bill, Steve, what do you think? I just think we should be doing more than we are, that's all. What do you think?
I looked on Main Street and we have lost several trees on Main Street that could be replaced. And the 4 that I'm going to try to pick out, if we can get them from Weston, will be replacement trees on Main Street. Now we can continue doing that. Right now there are a few ground level stumps where the dead trees have been cut down. And there are several areas that we can replace dead cut down trees on Main Street if you want to go ahead with that.
How many areas do you think need replacement? Are we talking about 8, 12, 20? What are we talking about, Shirley? What do you think?
Well, I really can't say right now, because in some cases it's one tree here and another tree there. In some other cases, it's 2 or 3 trees that would be in the same area. I think it would be best to count how many stumps we have there or places where we can fill in. But I would suggest we just pick a number that is reasonable for our budget and then plant that number of trees. We could do it on an annual basis if you want to.
What are we talking about cost-wise per tree, which you spent last year? Do you remember?
Well, it depends on what size we're looking at, but I believe the last 2 trees that we bought were somewhere around $200.
Okay. So we obviously have enough money to plant a number of trees.
There's some
And
other,
Go
I
ahead.
just, if we have stumps that are sitting there, surely we're gonna have to get the stumps ground out. because you don't just dig a hole and put a new tree in, right? If you got the stumps and roots, they're gonna have to be, we'll get a stump grinder, someone's gonna have to do that.
I was thinking we'd leave it up to Paul. The stumps are down to ground level. They're not a hazard. We could plant next to them. They may be able to be dug out or they may be able to be ground out. I don't know which, but I would let Paul make the judgment on that. In some cases, they may be just stay right there and rot out, and we just plant trees nearby.
My indication, Shirley, is that those stumps are pretty small. They're not
Yes,
very
they
large.
are.
It would seem to me that it wouldn't be that difficult to get the stump out. I don't know. I've taken larger stumps out in my backyard years ago. It took me weeks by
Yeah,
hand.
it's difficult if the stumps are there,
Yeah.
even if it's a stump of a dead tree, you're gonna have a lot of roots in the way of where your planting wants to go, Shirley. I don't know how close you're talking, but I'm sorry too, guys. I'm not, you say Paul a couple of times. Who are we referring
Paul
to?
DeCosta, the head of the highway department.
Okay, thank you.
Have you met
Yes,
Paul, Steve?
Sorry,
Have you met Paul?
I have not.
Good guy. He's a nice guy. And he's on the committee, and he's very cooperative. He helps a lot. So, and he, by the way, when we spend money, he takes care of where the money. Well, wait a minute, Josh, you do too. You take care of it, don't you?
Yeah, I invoice everything.
Yeah. Be nice to Josh.
Yeah.
No, no, Paul is the head of the highway.
Okay.
All right, so, and
but
what,
I'd like to suggest
go ahead.
that perhaps Steve and I do a look at where I would think we would plant the next 4 trees on Main Street, see what's near them, Steve, whether you feel we can plant near them without having to remove them, or whether we should remove them or close enough to cut out some of the roots or whatever. And then you and I go to Weston so that you can get familiar with their process down there. Weston Nurseries has a branch down here off of Summer Street. I don't know if you're familiar with that.
Oh, that's right. Yeah.
And they are only dealing on a wholesale level with contractors and communities.
Right.
We've got a foot in the door with them, and we've bought maybe the last 2 or 3 orders of trees through them. It's really convenient to be able to have them so close by. It
Sure.
saves time on Paul having to go down and pick them up and so on. Saves time on going down and making arrangements with them in the first place. So I'd like you to get familiar with that process if you feel interested in that. And it'll give you a chance to meet with Paul at the same time.
Sure. Yeah.
Yeah, I think it's a great idea. The other thing regarding that, Shirley, what about you brought it up before about the species on Main Street. Didn't you suggest that we alter them, that now we not put the same same species up?
What I'm suggesting is that we have a variety of species on Main Street. We are governed by the size because many of them are under electric wires. We are also governed by the reach of the roots because many of them are on small islands between the sidewalk and the curb of the road. So we have certain conditions that we have to follow. The original plan was to plant enough of the same species because we are predominantly planting flowering trees, and that we wanted to plant enough of the same species that would flower at the same time and make a statement so they'd be noticed. If we have one species here and next to it another different species and so on, it detracts from the flowering aspect of the trees, and they're not as big a statement and as noticeable. So I've been trying to find replacement trees amongst the cluster and trying to stay with the same. If it's a crabapple tree, then it's a crabapple. If it's a cherry tree, then it's a cherry. Again, with those conditions, the flowering time is like the ones on both sides of it, and the size is compatible with the location.
And also, Shirley, you might want to think about the consistency of the form of the tree.
Yes,
You have a weeping form and then you have an upright form. They would look
Sure.
kind of crazy if you had them all like kind of popcorn thrown in, I think, in my mind.
Sure.
This, you know,
Shirley, correct
uh,
me if I'm wrong, but when those trees were originally planted by the BIA, I don't know how many years ago, weren't weren't they mainly the same variety? Because when they flower, they seem to be the same color.
Well, that's part of a lot of them are flowering cherry trees. Um, and there are a few crabapple and so on. The trees that we find are compatible with the space in terms of being under power lines and the space in terms of amount of space between the curb and the sidewalk limits us in terms of what kinds of trees we can plant. For the most part, they are crabapple, they're cherry, and some pear trees, all of which are flowering trees. If we plant 4 of the same kind that come out at the same time, it's much more noticeable and commented upon than if we plant 2 of one and 3 of another and 2 of another and so on.
I agree with you.
We're trying to get a statement there on Main Street, and I think we've done fairly well in accommodating that.
Okay, that makes sense. How about if we go for more than 4?
This next time round,
Yeah,
um,
why don't we do 6? I mean, it looks like there's a lot of space open there on Main Street, especially on the north side. It's pretty bare in spots.
yeah, it is possible. I think it'll depend on what's available. We are getting close to the end of the real good planting season. And I want us to make sure that with every tree we put in, we put a gator bag in with it for the first year. And then we need somebody who's going to maintain that. I'm trying to be sensitive to the highway department's needs because this is their busy time of year. They're busy trying to patch roads and replace pipes and things of this sort that impede roads. So I think 4 is a good starter for this time of year, for this particular year. And if we find that that worked out all right and Paul can accommodate us, then I don't see any reason for upping the ante next year.
Okay, as I said before, I talked to Paul this morning and he said no problem planting. So I think your idea is good, Shirley. And Steve, if you can work with Shirley and just decide on the variety and contact Paul and then order the trees on. And if you have trouble getting him, I'll get a hold of him.
Okay.
He doesn't respond to emails that much, but he's there early in the morning. I just go walk in and he's literally half a mile from my house.
I think I have his cell phone number now as
Okay.
well, so that'll
Okay.
help.
Okay, and he knows you're going to be doing this, so
Yes,
okay, does that make sense? Okay,
it's
good.
fine with me. So before we leave this meeting, Steve, you and I can come up with a date to go do a morning of Weston Nursery and Paul and so on.
Well, it might be a good idea to transfer phone numbers either through email or at some point, so you can call each other. Yeah.
Sure.
All right. Good. That's good. That's make some progress there. The other things, I don't have anything major on this agenda. We still have our tree mitigation and our shade tree ordinance that has been sent in to the town. I would like that be resolved prior to Blythe leaving. And I'll email and see whether at least we can get mitigation straightened out because mitigation may be important to us in the future in terms of getting more funds for this committee. So I'll try to work on that. Other than that, I have nothing major. Anybody else? Yeah, Shirley?
I still am on a kick to try to have a workshop, if we can, or a lecture of some sort, which would include a workshop for people who are interested in planting their own trees to know the mechanics of doing so. The various types and species and characteristics, so that people know that they're not going to see in their lifetime a elm tree, for instance, come to full whatever, but they might see a tulip tree coming in their lifetime. So things like that, I think, might be helpful to the community and would give us a opportunity to also remind people that they can't just arbitrarily cut down street trees or border trees and things of this sort without getting permission, etc.
Well, I don't disagree at all. I mean, we had the forum, which was, it wasn't a workshop, but it was a forum on how to plant trees. I think, you know, your idea is good. I think it's going to take some planning, and whether, as you indicated, maybe past the point of actually planting this year. Maybe if we do this right, we should probably talk about having it late summer, early fall, when the next planting season is. But if you want to just think about how we set up in terms of a workshop, then maybe we can make more serious planning at our next meeting on it. Okay.
One of the things I was thinking about is maybe if we could focus on the high school and either take, 2 grades or 4 grades of high school and sort of set it up with the idea that we would have students from the high school learn about trees and learn about how to plant them, and encourage them to bring their parent along to a workshop of some sort, so that we're bringing in the next generation with more of an understanding and appreciation for trees, and they're bringing their parents along with them as an audience that might
I
be.
think that's absolutely excellent idea. And I mean, in fact, now that you brought it up, I think maybe that's one of the main focuses we should be doing, is getting the schools involved. If you want, I'll check on that. I'll try to check on the schools and see what the process would be in terms of doing something like that. It would probably be in September, of course, because we're running short on time right now. But that's okay in my mind, as long as we get in. Yeah, I think that's excellent idea, Shirley. Okay, good.
All right.
Oh, okay. Anything else? I have nothing else for this meeting. Yep, Shirley.
No, I'm all set.
Okay. Steve?
No, other than, maybe Shirley and I talking about where to, maybe, did you want to take a walk down Main Street first, Shirley, and check out what the situation is, and so we can count up how many we're getting and where they're going? I know you mentioned 4.
Sure.
To look at the stumps, I mean, yeah,
Let me know what dates you're gonna do, and I'll try to come along just for my own edification, okay?
Sure.
Okay,
Yeah.
you have each other's emails?
I don't, Steve, I don't have you.
I'll tell you what, after this meeting, I will send out emails to both of you, okay? So you have each.
And what we would also like is telephone numbers.
okay.
Okay, you can exchange your telephone numbers after I send you the emails, okay?
Okay,
All right, fair enough?
good.
Good.
Okay,
Look at your calendar for next week.
all right, then, I have nothing else.
Good.
Okay.
I'll take a
Motion to adjourn.
motion been made, is there a second?
Okay, second.
Okay, motion made, seconded, no discussion, I take it. All in favor, say aye.
Aye.
All right. That's it. Thanks a lot, folks.